FSRI got involved with the LA wildfires due to our involvement in previous analyses or investigations. We did the Maui wildfire investigation for the state of Hawaii, but we also have participated in numerous other fire-type investigations where there's been significant loss or close calls. It's not uncommon for us to tuck in next to an organization that is doing an investigation to explain the fire conditions. So being on the ground in these type of events is not unusual for us.
FSRI is responsible for creating the timeline report and the analysis. So our current research in the wildland-urban interface space includes topics such as structure-to-structure fire spread. How does the fire go from starting in the vegetation, moving into that built environment, impacting one structure to 5 to 10 to 100 to 1,000. And we're here on the ground at the Palisades incident and at the Eaton incident because we're gathering data, attempting to understand that as we evaluate the structures and the damage that was sustained to those building materials.
So our objective with this field assessment is to go and survey structures that have been affected by the fire but are still standing and not a complete loss. And by doing that, we can see which components of the structures are damaged, and that provides us with an idea of how the fire potentially spread from structure to structure.
What we're looking at is both the individual components, so on buildings that could be windows, siding, eaves, and vents. We're looking at how did the fire spread from the exterior into and through the structure. And a lot of times when we're looking at completely destroyed structures, it's a pile of ash on the ground and we don't have that evidence. And so our focus is on actually damaged but not yet destroyed structures where we can see that pathway where it might have needed one more link to fully destroy the structure.
We have conducted several different studies analyzing heat transfer through different window types. So when we get on site to a structure, we'll look at all of the windows around the structure to see if there are any visible signs of damage. If there are, then we have a meter that can tell us the different properties of the window, the glass thickness, whether or not there's a coating on there. We'll get dimensions of a cracked or broken window, how high it is off the ground, how far away it is from any destroyed vegetation or a neighboring destroyed structure. So that way we can kind of get the full information of what the window was made out of and also what the surroundings of the window were.
We've been out into the community and meeting with community members and just asking them if they were around during the fire. One of the key things that we were able to get is photos or videos of the fire. The data on that then tells us exactly when the photo was taken and the location of that photo. We can then take that and put it on the timeline and say, we know the fire was at point A at this point in time. We go down the road, we run into another neighbor or another individual, and now they're showing us that the fire, from their point of view, had moved to the next point.
We also do what we call technical discussions with our first responders, and we'll ask them the same questions to review their experiences, where they were, where they responded to, and gather their times, any data that they have as far as videos or pictures. And that will help put points on the map, and that will add to the overall fire progression on the fire map.
So understanding the detailed timeline tells us a lot about how the emergency response system interacted with the weather conditions at the time. So what was the wind blowing the embers and how far they might have gone to that point? How the wind could tilt the flames from one structure that's on fire towards or away from other structures. That timeline allows us to understand where the fire department was, whether they were able to apply water to the structures or help to evacuate the citizens. So when we're looking at how the fire progresses through the community, it helps us to understand the defensive actions. So those things help to understand why some structures may survive and others do not. Without understanding the timeline, you can't understand how all of those different pieces came together.
It takes a lot of people because it's a big system that you need to address. We have to have policymakers, experts in the field in codes and standards, people that work in the prevention space, that address all forms of the system to ultimately land on findings that will get us to recommendations where those could be acted upon to prevent something like this from happening again.